you're not sure like where this information came from, if you go back in Google Classroom, you can see we've been doing a lot of things to prepare for multiplying and dividing fractions. So way back here, when we started rational numbers, we started on 1016. We've been working on this all marking period. We worked on improper to mixed and vice versa. Mixed to improper. So if you're struggling with that, go back and review. We talked about simplifying fractions. So if you're struggling with that, go back and review. Now, adding and subtracting, we weren't being tested on for the quiz, but you are having to do some of that possibly for your IB test because we're putting all of it together in rational operations. So if you're worried about decimals and not remembering how to change fractions to decimals, come back here, right? So this would have been the second time we reinforced fractions to decimals. So there were other times as well, right? So if you need help adding rational numbers, adding fractions, subtracting fractions, if you need to refer back to those for your IB task, you may do so. It's all there for you. All right. We started multiplying fractions almost a month ago. So we reviewed that. If you want extra practice and you want immediate feedback, boom decks are a great way to go. If you have not finished those boom decks successfully, they're there for you to practice your multiplying fractions. There's one with and without integers. Then we practiced dividing fractions. We did more multiplying and dividing fractions. Then we kind of added decimals into it and continued with multiplying rational numbers with fractions and decimals, as well as dividing fractions and decimals with rational numbers. So then we had our quiz. Was that Tuesday? Yes, because today's Thursday. So we did our quiz Tuesday. Yesterday, you were to start this performance task. Let's look a little bit at that. Was anybody not here yesterday? Nick, you need it. You probably should be doing Alex if you have a quiz and I can sit down. I want to be sure you've done it right because I don't really want to grade this multiple times. All right. So when we're looking at this, it's very step by step, but you might want to pay attention to what I'm telling you right now. You got your pencils out? You have your IB task in front of you. Your Chromebooks are closed because we're going to focus on this. All right, so set your quiz aside. You can make corrections on those and retake it if you choose to. That's something that you need to decide. I can't spoon feed you and then force you to do something and, well, it just doesn't go well when that happens, okay? So Noah wants to calculate the total number of acres he mowed on Tuesday and Friday. However, his calculator will only compute with decimals. Write the fractions representing acres mowed on Tuesday and Friday as decimals. So these numbers here, should these be fractions? No. Make sure they are decimals. Decimals. You want decimal here, a decimal here. So you're changing 2.5 into a decimal. 2 and, remember, and is where you put the decimal. And then you have to figure out what 1/2 is in base 10. 1 divided by 2. You're going to do the same thing with Friday, although it's already written for you. What does the fraction bar mean? Divided by. So you're going to say 25 divided by 8. If you haven't done it yet, write it down right here. 25 divided by 8 equals, and then, no, does it? No, it would, 25 divided by 8 is not 2.5.
Oh, dang.
So then you're gonna take Tuesday and Friday and total them up. That should be easy peasy. Does it terminate or is it repeating? You should be able to answer that. Now, part B. Noah needs to purchase gasoline and believes he will need to use more on Friday than on any other day. Order the days from least to greatest number of acres and explain whether Noah's observation is correct or incorrect. So now that you have this in a decimal and this in a decimal, you should be able to order these from least to greatest. So looking just off the bat, least should be Monday, right? And then you're gonna go on from there. What's the next one? What's the next one, right? What's the next one? And you're gonna list them in order from least to greatest and answer the question. Was Noah's observation correct or incorrect? Is Friday the greatest amount of acres?
Yes.
That's up to you to decide. All right, so you're just showing that. Are there any questions on this first page and what is expected of you? So you're changing two fractions to decimals, you're adding them together, you're answering a simple equation. Then you're comparing decimals. You might have to change Friday into a decimal if you want to look at them all so that you can compare decimals. Now, on the second page, on the back of the first page, part C, Noah only wants to purchase gasoline twice a week to save time. Explain which half of the week, Monday through Wednesday or Thursday through Saturday, would require more gasoline. So you're going to add this up, and then you're going to add this up. You have all decimals now. Once you change them all to decimals, you're just putting them in your calculator. Ladies, do you need to leave? Because you're being really disruptive. And then you're saying, well, was Monday through Wednesday greater or was Thursday through Saturday greater? You have a calculator, you have decimals, you should be able to add decimals. All right, on a certain Saturday, Noah has mowed, what does it say? 5/8 of an acre at one property and 1 75 acres at a second property when it began to rain. Noah decided to finish the remaining amount on Sunday. How many acres will he be mowing on Sunday? All right, if you don't have something to write with, grab it, because I'm going to walk you through this a little bit. We have 5/8 of an acre and 1 75 acres. He had so he's mowed this. What was he supposed to mow on Saturday?
Really?
25/8. So we're going to figure out how much he already mowed and subtract it from the total he had to mow to figure out what was left. This equals what is left from Saturday. So add these two up. Say this minus that. I believe you can change them all into decimals, right? So this should not be difficult. Then you're going to take what is left from Saturday plus Sunday. So whatever this is gonna go here, and you're gonna add that to Sunday, which is, oh, it doesn't matter. We're just trying to figure out what's left over. I thought Sunday he had other work to do and he does not. So that's all we're trying to find out. I put these in parentheses because you have to do that first. Then you have to take this minus whatever you got here. Okay? So be sure you're paying close attention to that. Any questions about the back side of page 1?
No.
If we're using decimals, this should make it very easy. You guys have not had to add fractions or subtract fractions at all. You're just dealing with decimals. All right. When Noah arrives at work on Thursday, he finds out that one of the other employees is unable to work for the next few days. The company asks him to cover the other employee's properties in addition to his own. This means that Noah will have to mow 1 1/2 times as many acres. So this times 1 1/2. You can change this to a decimal and multiply the 2 to get your new amount. 2 1/2 times as many acres on Friday. So I'm saying times, actually they wrote it as 2 5/10. I read it as 2 1/2, sorry. You can change this to a decimal. You should have already changed it to a decimal. Multiply them together to get your new amount. And on Saturday, 1 4/5 times 1 4/5, we're gonna call it, because 6 is a repeating decimal. To get your new amount. Then, to get your total, you're going to add these up. Add Thursday through Friday. I'm sorry, through Saturday. Add Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This plus this plus this equals this. Noah knows he will not have enough time to do all the work himself, so he asks his brother to mow half of the total of number of acres. So 1/2 times this, whatever you got here, times this. How many acres will his brother have to mow? Questions about what's being expected there? Fairly straightforward, hopefully. All right, the last page, the back of the second page. Noah earns $324.90 before taxes during a typical work week. What rate does he earn in dollars per acre? So we need our total acres. We've already changed these to decimals. So we're going to add Monday plus Tuesday plus Wednesday plus Thursday plus Friday plus Saturday to get our total number of acres. You need to find that information out. Okay? And then you're going to take the amount of money, oops, $324.90. We want per acre. Per means divided by. Hopefully you learned that in 6th grade. Per means divided by the total number of acres. So you're going to divide by this total number here, whatever you got here. Remember that fraction bar means divided by. I can't tell you that enough.
I know we don't care.
If it takes Noah about 28 and a half hours to complete all of his mowing in a typical work week, what hourly rate does he earn? So we're taking his total amount of money he makes and dividing it by 28 and a half. So you need to change this to a decimal and divide. It says round to the nearest cent if necessary. The nearest cent would be the hundredths place. So after the decimal, you have tenths and hundredths. You know what cents look like. Don't go past that cent amount. And see if you might have to round that up or keep it the same, okay? You might be too far away for it to hear you. All right. Questions now. Does that make it a little bit easier? Simplify this a little bit, help you wrap your head around it? All right, now you just have to do the work. You need to change everything to decimals. Add some things up, answer some questions. Be thorough, please. I'm begging you. This can be part of your redemption for that quiz if you didn't do well, right? For sure. This is an assessment grade, just like your quiz, your other two quizzes were. So there will be 3 assessment grades on your report card, right, for third marking period, adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing, and this IB task. Question. You'll get first marking period, second marking period, and the average of that will be your first semester grade. You'll get all of that after second marking period. Question, Peyton? Okay, I'm gonna stop this video and I'll be around to help answer questions if needed. Please keep it quiet. You can work together, but I need you to be working quietly and productively.